Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in last week. Thank you for tuning in today. But I wanted to say thank you for all of the encouragement on last week's video. Before doing that, I felt really nervous about posting it, starting a new ministry, not knowing what was going to come about of it, and just doing this is not necessarily something that I saw myself doing before. But after reading the encouragement, after putting all the stuff together to make it happen, I felt the Spirit of God, and I heard Him tell me that this is what He wants me to do. So this is what I'm doing. I'm here again, sharing another message with you, and I appreciate you tuning in. So for the past couple weeks in my Wednesday night small group for young adults, we've been talking about what it means to love well. And in that, we've been going through Jesus's ministry, his timeline, and at each miracle that's performed, we've just been discussing it and how and what the act of love that was in that story meant then and what it means for us today. So this week we talked about Jesus's time in the temple. So I was reading out of John chapter 2, 13 through 25. I'm not going to read that today. So if you want to pause the video and read that chapter, I encourage you to do so. Read it afterwards, but I'm going to kind of paraphrase for you and just sum it up, just for the sake of the video and its time. But in this part, Jesus goes to the temple and he is going to worship, and he is observing that there's a lot of stuff going on within that temple that's distracting and not of what should be going on in the temple. People selling things, trading money, and it's just overall really distracting for people that have come specifically to worship. So he's frustrated. There's great frustration that this isn't ideal. So he makes a whip and he drives out the cattle, flips the tables, and throws the coins everywhere. And the Jews are saying, "Who gives you the authority to do this?" And he goes into conversation with them a little bit more. And that's further explained in the passage, which again, I encourage you to read. But what does that mean for us? Where do you think I'm going with this? His act of frustration, how does that show great love? But the first thing I want to share is sometimes when you are growing in relationship with God, when you're growing in relationship with people, it's very tough. People are hard, and we have our own mindsets and our own ideas on how things should go, and it's frustrating. And when you love people a lot, you have to have hard and honest conversations. So with great love comes great honesty, and that's not easy. So here in this story, Jesus is so frustrated, but he's so passionate about his love for God, his Father, but also passionate about his ministry. And what's going on in the temple does not reflect or encourage what Jesus is trying to do in his ministry. It doesn't allow for people to worship, and it's distracting, and that's not what was planned to happen inside the temple. So in his frustration, flipping the tables and throwing out all the cattle, he's showing that he is willing to have and do those tough, honest conversations because he loves. And second, just the fact that he is there and willing to be frustrated shows that he cares. I don't know about you, but when I don't care, I don't love. And I definitely don't flip tables when I don't care. When I don't care, I'm just like, peace out, see you later. But he cares so much that he's willing to do that in a temple, a place where you don't have acts of frustration happening all the time. But he wanted his people to be able to worship, and he wanted people to experience a love that he knows that exists. And so what does that mean for us today? For us, dealing with people, like I said, is tough. Jesus had to deal with people back then, and it was tough. And we have to deal with people today, and it's tough. It doesn't get any easier. And the tough conversations sometimes I just feel like maybe they get even more tough. But my encouragement for you is to love people enough to have tough conversations. And I want you to understand that Jesus went in the temple and he flipped tables for those people back then to be able to worship, but he had those conversations and he flipped those tables for you. And he's going to keep flipping tables to get to you. How many tables does Jesus have to flip to get to you to experience God's love? And if you're really close to him already, how many tables are you willing to flip to allow God to reach your friends and the people in your life? How many tables are you willing to flip in order to get them out of God's way? Not that God needs us, but there's definitely hurdles in people's life, and you as a Christian, as a peer to other people, are so impactful in their journeys that you are so important to get those tables out of people's way. And that sometimes means having really tough conversations with the ones that you love. And with this, I want you to know that Jesus loves you. And Jesus loves the people around you. And above all things, Jesus wants you to experience a love that God provides so deeply that you're able to stand firm in the knowledge and in his teachings, that having those tough conversations aren't easy, but you're able to stand firm and confident in having them with the people that you love. And like I said, Jesus loves you. He loves the people around you. And I want for you to experience a love of God that I've experienced, that I'm experiencing, that I'm choosing to stand firm in, and to hold the people around me accountable in their relationship with Christ and moving forward with them. I encourage you to evaluate what that looks like in your life. Are you willing to stand firm in God's love for you, that you're able to have tough conversations with the ones that you love? And I want you to think about it. It's not just having tough conversations for your gain. It's having tough conversations so that people around you can grow deeper in the Spirit and that can experience the love of God that you have. So I encourage you this week to love people right where they are. And if it requires tough conversations, to have them. Ask the Lord for his guidance, for his to stand with you, to be behind you, because he is 100%, and you're not alone in this journey. And I want you to know that the people at Farmdale are praying for you. We hope that this ministry opens doors in your life and that you're moved and able to grow within the Spirit with us. I'm excited to continue to do this with you. I'll see you guys next Thursday, same time. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye.